on the agenda. So last week, we saw 0 demo from Dean, and everyone cried. A bit of YesSql, and everyone cried. Then we talked about dynamic localization. I sent call for anyone to work on localization and synchronization, meaning field localization. And talked about release 1.0. This week, 1st of December. Demos. We have Zoltan. Sure, it's a demo, but we have Zoltan.
It's more like an announcement, but yeah.
It's okay. Who else?
Zero demos from me.
Next
week I will have a really good demo.
It's disappointing. Really good demo. Sure.
Good things take time.
I don't agree. That I don't see any relationship between time and good things. Some things are super quick to do and super good. Something you will spend 2 months and still shitty. So just be a good thing.
Yeah, well, it's entirely possible it will be still a bit average, but we'll see.
Like last time, in a week, you showed us the user picker field and the user custom settings. And you see, don't need that much time. So that's it. Okay, on my side, do I have anything? Leads and PRs in YesSql, but nothing interesting. So all good. Status and topics. We'll see otherwise. If you have any idea, any subjects you want to talk about, just let me know, and I will see if I allow you to talk about it. So, what were we looking at? The code status. 4.1, nothing, a month and a half. But there was some update on the PR. I think we saw that. We didn't have triage last week, but there was something. Then Orchard Core here. Test branch first 24 here. Shuffle functional test CI tweaks. And I think that was reverted. I'm not sure, but update test. .NET version. Okay. Cypress 6. Okay. Better CI test. And I haven't seen anything, but I assume the quota is still valid, but it's still good. Sure. Cool. Oh, you did that. I was about to ask someone to do that. Super important. And it worked. Oh my God.
Yeah, although I hadn't test run it against MySQL, to be fair, because we're not running those tests at the moment.
Well,
if we have some quota, it would be a nice thing to be doing.
We don't have tests for that. We do, right?
Well, we do. We're just not running them at the moment.
Well,
we were.
You can.
Has it changed?
Well, that's the goal, to be able. So first, we can run it manually. But something we can do is, we said we would do is run it like weekly or at least nightly, if we don't want weekly. And we can even file an issue if it fails. Like if if we make it automatic, we can file automatically issues also, like saying test failed, fix it quickly.
That'd be really good. Do you want to run that one now and see? And we'll
Yeah.
see.
Okay. So let's keep it running and we'll see later. So we did that, but I don't want to look at it. I just wanted to look at what am I checking? What am I doing? I was there. Oh, I wanted to look at the quota to see if anything, everything. So apparently everything's still working. All is green. If I go on the actions and I look at the history here, 6, 10, 5, 6, 11, 7. So this is like just for today. Like, if we take 24 hours, it's crazy, but 12, 22, 27, 33, 44, 51, 58, 64, 75, 85, 91, 97, 7, 13, 19, 28, wow, 28, 38, 50, 61, 71. Okay, 71 hours every 10 hours, about the same for the rest. Let's say 100 to 150 per day hours, right? A minute, sorry, hours per day, minute. So let's say 2 hours of build per day. And I think we're limited to 70 hours. So we should be in quota, but that's me. Why is everything failing here? Because these are the same PRs are failing. Just want to ensure we are not hitting a quota.
Because the Ubuntu tests were failing.
For the same reason?
Because of a dynamic parameter in the recipe. And
it was failing because we use dates for generating the unique ID, and it was returning a negative value, and we can't use a dash in a tenant name.
Okay.
So we fixed that.
Oh, you fixed the test. Good job. Thank you. And so I provided the JavaScript version that was, it was JavaScript, right? In Cypress, it was generating a tenant value random.
Yes. Yes.
I will look at the fix and okay, good. So we are still in boundaries of the build quota, and we are still running here functional test on databases. So what does it say MVC here? And then SQLite Postgres. Oh, these are the controller tests, the ASP.NET integrated test, and then this is a functional test. Okay, so let's keep it going. Going back to the code. Content list, content delete modal, button localization. Okay. Don't we use upper K in the button? Not sure. I don't. Looks weird. The new filter that we talked about, the users by ID. Well, renaming it to users by ID, but a new filter. High connection string coming from configuration. So if the connection string is coming from configuration in the setup screens, then it's not displayed. And we can't change it. Okay. Dockerfile update to SDK 5 because necessary to build. Then remove all bit files from solution. Okay. Build assets after themes update. Just to refresh all the assets section.
Yes.
Then Jean-Philippe said we could also have a CI step that will validate that all the assets are up to date. Like we didn't merge some changes, cross changes, which didn't rebuild all the assets correctly. And that could also fire an issue weekly, so we know that someone has to do that. Technically, the CI step could ensure that everything is correct. And if something is not consistent, then it could even create a PR with the file changes. We can just have to merge it. Add GitHub links to owners. Ooh, what is that? Okay. Now I'm lost. So how does, okay. So that's the actual link and that's the name. Okay. So now you put the name. Code owners. Okay. DarkMode v2, cookie based. Have you started the v3?
What?
Did you start the v3 already?
No.
Why?
Because well, it's just because I had a service and a DarkMode service from server side, and also it's using a cookie. And previously it was using local storage, which we can use on server side, but I needed a third app library, which I didn't want to require. So I used the cookie.
So there is some code here. What is that? So DarkMode service. Default.
It returns the current theme. If you look at the layout,
Display DarkMode. There is a new setting then.
yeah, there's a setting, admin setting, which says you enable the DarkMode or not, and the DarkMode service will return the proper theme variation in the layout.
So this, I think there's a shortcut. You can just pass the class once, and I think it will just register the class itself. You don't need to say that. So the schema is already there.
It's in the layout, yeah. This is where I had it. This is based on what the guy from Bootstrap are trying to do for the next version of Bootstrap. So they use a data theme like that.
They are wrong. We should tell them.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, the idea is because previously it was doing a lot of flicker by using two different CSS files. It was executing the CSS animation when we were switching from one CSS to the other. So
I need a library to read a cookie. Funny. So what is Bootstrap Select?
It's a custom library on top of Bootstrap, which adds functionalities on select boxes. I'm currently looking at this because it's not working properly, but surely there is a fix for that.
And here in the CSS, the same as the last one. Okay. Good. Fix owner's link again. Yeah, you know what? I was about to say, that seems weird because yeah, this is the link and this is the text. So yeah, I should it work. Did you ask him? Or you just said him? He's there, don't say anything. You know. Maybe he doesn't want to on commerce. Display text, what's the change here? Shortcodes, documentation. Okay. Did you ask Dean if he agreed with that?
Yes, because you don't need to surround it by brackets. It will be displayed with brackets, but if you add it in the name, it will be double brackets.
Usage. Okay. Other shortcode categories. External libraries. Okay. I'm trying to find a theme from all your changes here, Antoine, because you made so many, and I don't know if there was a goal. Libraries, readme, MD. Wow, with a table and a link to the license. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Is that everything?
In .NET, yes, but maybe I will include the test, the UI.
Okay.
But those are the dependencies, the .NET dependencies.
So I was wondering, even for the projects, if we should, so some libraries have dependencies too. Like if I made a package called foo and I referenced all these ones, technically, should I just reference foo or should I also reference all these ones? That's ambiguous, you know, because I don't know what to do in this case, which like I know Jean's references esprima.net. So should we also say esprima.net or not? I don't care, but should we have to? Like GraphQL, I'm sure they are referencing some other libraries. So should we also include them? I don't know. Okay, that's good. I like it. Make it and mark it. Okay. Margig, what do you use also from just Margig, I think. That's great. Fix font color on workflow canvas because it's better. I'm sure with the DarkTheme. Good job. FileDocumentStoreAttribute. Oh, yes, I told Chantery, I don't want to see something like this in a custom implementation of a store. Like, oh, by the way, if this is this type, then do this thing. Why? It's completely intrusive. So he made an extensibility with a custom attribute, and now this one is handled differently. So that's good. Sure. That's the V3 of the DarkMode. I wanted it. So we have a V3. Waiting for the V4. Admin UI fixes. Oh, that's the V4. No, that's not DarkMode. Just sizes. Rename workflow types in workflows. Okay, what's that? So this one is about okay. Workflow type. So why?
Because they are actually workflows, and I also named the instances.
Because we changed explicitly from workflows to workflow types after some decisions that we made by talking. We said workflow is ambiguous, so let's call them like content items and content types workflow types to be sure that we are talking about the types and not the instance of the workflow. So, and it was discussion also with CPU, and I assume during a Tuesday meeting. We can change our mind, but I'd like to know if you change your mind or if we changed our mind. So it was a PR probably, and some people commented. Got one vote. So I'd file an issue to see what people think, if we think it's not good and why. Because we did the opposite change on purpose. It was not this way before when it was workflow. It was workflows before, and then we said no. It's ambiguous when we see workflows if we mean the type or the instance. So we said let's call them workflow types and workflows. So here you are doing the opposite disambiguation, like okay, let's call them instances when they are workflows. Because, now you see you even so if I read that I'm like I don't know contact form instance contact form workflows validation instance validation workflow. I don't personally I don't think instances is better than workflows for a workflow instance, and by consequence disambiguate this one with the name type or definition, whatever, so we don't assume it's a workflow. That's my opinion. Okay. The theme use Bootstrap 453. Change the title. What? Why?
Because we changed it in H1, I think, but we did not change it in the title. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. If the visible one is set up, then let's make it also titled here. Okay. Trumbowyg 222. Replace ShellSettings Identifier by VersionId. Okay, what is that? Identifier. I don't know we had that. We have an identifier for the.
Yes, and we had a discussion with Kevin.
Okay.
Because there is also an issue saying in OpenID I would like an identifier for the tenant.
Not a name, not a logical name, the same way for the same reasons for user ID and username, same reasons. Because we can change a name, but we should not be able to change an ID. Sorry. So VersionId. So now it's just changing the name, okay? But it's a breaking thing?
No, it's not breaking. The identifier was used actually to compare if this version of the shell settings was the same as the previous one.
Okay.
So the name change is good, and it will come back null the first time round. It gets checked, so it will be different to the new generated one.
Okay.
And later he will actually hopefully introduce a proper ID, which will be quite useful.
Yes, so this is not the unique identifier. This is the version and which we use to track changes.
Yeah, so it's
and
the
was
change tracker.
implemented, but it's not tracking anymore because in our core we actually don't use this change tracking. We don't need that. So I assume this one will be used as the unique identifier eventually.
Yeah, so you'd probably do something on a different PR.
Okay. Fix CI acting funny instant magically. Oh, that's the one. Okay, utils. So what's wrong with that? Oh, why? Why absolute?
It was returning t minus some string.
Hey. Yeah, but how is that negative? So new date is the right now. And oh, you know what? Fucking JavaScript. I was not sure I should have tried it, but the month is 0 indexed, something like that. So maybe that's, so when did it start failing?
It's not magically, like I said.
Yeah, first of the month, possibly.
Yeah.
But yeah, what, so
JavaScript is 0 and first of the month today.
But it's 12.
yeah, so you can't build. Yeah, actually. So the solution is to actually, because I'm not sure abs is the solution. It's not. It's fixing the issue. It's a mitigation, but it might result in wrong things. Like the goal is that it will go up, so it will be unique. And in this case, it will go through 0. It will do 1, 0.5, 0, 0.512. You see, because it will start negative at some point. So you might have I'm sure there is, I mean, if you hit an issue, you should just go play the lottery, okay? There is no way you could find the same value. Because here the goal is to remove the milliseconds part and to extract just to offset using an epoch, the ticks number. So they are a small number, but technically there should be an issue. And the solution should be to find why that return a negative value, because maybe it's like a +1 on the month, and that's the reason. We should check, like, yeah. The month is stupid in JavaScript. I don't know. I mean, JavaScript is so full of stupid things like this that I don't even know there is a reason for that. Stupid.
Yeah, for the C# version of that, I just used ticks, which was so much easier.
Thank you for fixing. I'm sure it has been hard to find out why is it generating a negative thing. Custom query schema fix. Okay, so good thing to provide some documentation, so I will be able to learn about the feature because nobody knows about that feature. When exposing queries from SQL through GraphQL, you need to define a schema. You can, you don't. Well, you need to if you want to use it. Yeah, if you want to use your custom queries in GraphQL, you need to expose a schema for a GraphQL schema. You want to expose content items, but first you need to check return content. Okay, checkbox, and define a schema like this. So whenever we say a query will return content items, we can use a schema like this. Okay, good. However, if you want to expose a custom object display text, you need to uncheck that, okay? And then a schema can be type object, properties, content item, display text, string. Okay, that's clear. I like it. I like it because I've always wondered what can we type there. I don't want to look at the GraphQL definition. Okay, that's good. That's good. And apparently fixing some issues also. Using query field type provider, SQL query field. Okay, good job. Yeah, what could go wrong if you type some types directly here? Shape property, type. So if I look at the documentation, the thing like this, type, you see the issue like, okay, string integer, but what else? Just strings and integers.
Yeah, so we actually matched that to the JSON schema casing and correct naming conventions. So the docs that are there actually match exactly what you should get out of the JSON schema, which is good. Great. That's really good.
My concern is that are these the only types we can have?
I believe that's the only ones we're returning at the moment, schema-wise.
That would be weird, right? Strings and integers. What about datetime? Booleans. Also, it's Lucene. Maybe Lucene just supports that. So let's look at SQL. String integers, string integers. So yeah, that's good. At least we have string integers. But I wonder if what happens if I return a Boolean field or datetime field or whatever is called. Like we have also a numeric field that returns floats as a physical value. So maybe it won't work in this case. But yeah. So Antoine, you want to find an issue for that, just to have a follow-up to see if you point to this PR 7708, just so we can check that there are other basic types that we need to check there. Just adding more if. And maybe also it depends on what GraphQL supports. Maybe it's also that type. Maybe that's the GraphQL concept here. And we need to look at all the values, possible values. Okay, good. Okay. Don't remove brackets if it's not a script expression. Wow. Okay. So this is this time the PR that fixes the ambiguity.
It's brilliant.
So that I used this syntax recently, I don't know where, to get the last item of an array. So this is a new syntax. So here it says, okay, from 1 to this index. And you can also say the last item by saying the value and then '1. I think that's it, '1. So it will take the last item -1. So the last item. I think it's '1. I used it somewhere. New syntax. Interesting. It's better than saying value.
Yeah, I was wondering, actually, you probably know that. So is this using the span implementation under the codes?
I have no idea.
Because that would be great.
Yeah, the question is it creating a new array? It has to.
No.
Oh, you think? No, it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Interesting, because it's just
exactly.
Written. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I don't know.
I'd be curious.
I know I've used the ~1, well, the '1 to get the latest one because it was much easier than checking for the rest. But this one I've never used so far, and I've used something like this in JavaScript very recently, which also simplifies the expression.
Yeah, the thread operator in JavaScript is pretty cool.
Different.
Yeah, no, I'm saying also the spread operator is pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, so here about this PR, which we asked for, and we even have tests. Oh my god, my version writes a PR, we have more tests than code.
Oh, it's great because you replaced JP's PR, which was 5 lines of code, with 1 line of code, which is a great little lot of code, and quite a lot of tests to go with it, which is cool.
Now we have to be the test, right? Because nobody will read the test. We'll just read the code. Scripts separator, and he's looking for. So we have the script separator, and if we don't take that after the first char is a letter, that's good. I think that's what we said during the meeting. So perfect. Thank you, Isha. Refactor admin menu permission, because why not? Obviously, when it doesn't work. So I won't go in details on this one because it must be quite complex. And I assume someone approved it. Who took a look at that?
So I actually did most of this PR. The issue on the original one was that we were actually serializing the permissions into the JSON that was being stored in the database of the menu, but because permissions are a static class that are served locally, and because they have some serialization issues, we just had to rejig how it ran.
So I think I can remember that the issue was that the menu itself, when it was generated, was not taking the permissions into account correctly. So it was just a menu issue. You could see stuff that you should not be able to go to, but when you would try to go there, then it will be protected. But the menu itself should not have displayed the link.
Yeah, so the feature was to add a permissions checker to the custom admin menu, to the custom admin menus.
Oh boy.
So what I've also removed there is some of the stuff that shouldn't be serialized from the recipe, things like root values and other stuff, because an admin menu is also related to a code-based menu, a menu item.
Okay, ignore it when you saw it. It's okay. Yeah, I assume it was there in the recipes because it was serialized.
Yeah, it was just there a bit empty, but just remove it to make it clean.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Upgrade YesSql. So the big changes in this version are that first, it's updating all the libraries like MySQL, PostgreSQL, SQLite, SQL Server clients. They are updated. MySQL is big update. The major version update, new namespace. It doesn't change for us. Well, it does if we point to MySQL. Also didn't ask to remove that. I think something like that. Oh no, there was a string, but that's weird. We still have that one. Interesting. That we haven't changed that before. Interesting.
Well, we didn't have it before because it wasn't there. It just got forgotten about.
Okay.
So it won't affect table names particularly, but it just brings it into the newer conventions.
On my tests, the perf for SQLite was much better, like twice as fast as before, if not 3 times as fast as before on my concurrent tests. And just because the new client for SQLite is faster, maybe some caching on the connection pooling, which it was not doing before. So if you run benchmarks, you should try that with SQLite. If you use SQLite, you should try that to see if it's faster when you have lots of concurrent requests before and after this change. Okay, and new contributor, and that's it. And now the Zoltan show. I don't have any music to introduce you, Zoltan. Sorry.
Well, maybe next
and
time.
by the way, you don't have any music on your videos to introduce the show like William is doing on his shows.
Yes, and actually that's an issue because we used to have for the old ones. So I remember I didn't tell this earlier, before we published it. Yes, so about the videos that don't have any music. We should somehow add it later. Anyway, what we have published just today is Dojo Course 3. So for all of us old enough here, there was a Dojo Course 2, which was on Orchard 1. And there was a Dojo Course 1, which was also Orchard 1 like 7 years ago. It was in ancient times. But what we have now is Dojo Course 3. It's an Orchard Core tutorial series. So it consists of 40 videos, actually. We are publishing one each day, starting
40!
today. 40!
1-4? 1-4?
No.
4-0?
4-0.
What?
They are short ones, that's why.
How many seasons?
They're just season 1.
Is it on Netflix?
It's on Disney Plus because it's very cute since it's about Orchard.
One per day?
Yes.
Okay, so it's worse than the Mandalorian. I have to wait 40 days to be able to start binge watching all the tutorials in a row.
Yes, but you can get a sneak peek if you like. just a private one.
I watched the one this morning. That's okay. Thank you.
Oh,
I looked at everywhere to find the next one because the next button didn't show the next. And when is that? I mean, I was wondering if you waited like 1 more year to shoot the next one because you mentioned it's a tutorial with lots of series, and so 40 of them. Wow.
Yes, we didn't want to dump the whole thing onto our subscribers, and then there's a nice wait, a bit of a suspense. But I think it's a pretty complete tutorial series. So there are so many videos because it's so complete. Well, of course there is still more, and Orchard is changing as well. I recorded these in September, but everything that you need to know as an Orchard developer in everyday Orchard development, I think, is there. And of course, it's not just videos. There is also a demo project. The full of it is up on GitHub, so you can check out what happened there. And of course, the whole thing is also supported by the training demo, also an old module now, of course, not now, since 1.5 years or something like that, upgraded to Orchard Core, and everything else is annotated here in great details. Yeah, so that's it. Please enjoy. If you have some newcomer to Orchard, you can now link them to this. For people who like to learn from videos, I think this will be quite useful.
So once again, did Antoine already update the documentation with the videos? I checked, he didn't. Surprised.
I intend to submit a pull request for that once there are a couple of them uploaded or published.
Or maybe you can also already list all the videos, but with no links, and just update the links, just to show that everything is there, and just to build the
yeah, I'm sure everyone would love to know what's coming up next week and the week after, the topics and the things that they're really interested in. Suspense, build the suspense. Yeah. Put a little bit of information, extra information out there. Be great.
That's a very good idea. Thanks. We'll do that.
But hopefully you will release the videos, because sometimes you see the 3-part blog post and then you find the part 1, part 2, and then 5 years after the part 3 hasn't been shipped, and you're like, what? I want to see part 3. So yeah.
The secret is that the videos are already there. So
yeah, we never know. Like, I don't know, Hungary burns and then you can't upload them.
Or YouTube.
Also, it happens.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thanks. Good tip. We'll do that.
And do we have to see you in the videos all the time?
Well, you can, I guess, somehow put something here, like a post-it on your screen.
Is there a cookie setting? Can you ask Jasmine to make you a setting to remove your face, like in the video? A setting, like check on by default for sure.
I could do a dark mode though.
Yeah, dark lombic mode, like with a big big circle in the top right, the bottom right, just right. Okay, that's great. 40 videos. Oh my god.
My face is opt-in, so sorry about that. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Great. So yeah, so my question was, so I got the answer. Like I saw the Dojo course 3, and I was wondering, I missed something. I didn't pay attention. There was versions in the Dojo course, so now I know why it's called the 3. So thanks for the explanation. And what else? Now I also understand why it was just part 1, and where is the parts 2 to 40 apparently. And you don't mention that in the video that there is a 40 parts tutorial. Maybe you didn't know when you started, but I assume you did know.
Yeah, it's not there. It's just on the other texts that link to that, but not in the videos. That's right.
Okay. Okay, that's great. So it will be on the docs, the link. At some point, do we have to pay to access the video?
No. This is open and free. Okay,
so you will make an invoice on your customers. They pay for that, right?
Yeah, somebody has to pay for it in the end.
Yeah, indirectly they are paying for that. So thanks to all your customers for that. So they are contributing to the effort. That's the tax. That's the open source tax.
Yes, yeah. That's it. I will continue to call it like that. I will steal that totally.
That's good. Okay, thanks for that. But we won't be able to see the whole Lombic team, then just you again. Kind of sad.
Yeah, unfortunately, nobody else wanted to be presenter there.
Good. Dojo 3. So, what will be the form? That's the question. Dean, okay. Topics. We saw the video. Any questions, comments, topics to talk about? I got a question again on 1.0, and I pointed to the milestone and all the issues that have to be fixed. Do we make any progress, by the way, on that one? Issues. Milestone 1.0. I think there is some progress. It's close, right? So we will do probably some good triage on that on Thursday to see if we can close some of them or postpone or do something to close it.
Yeah, I think there's some PRs waiting for some of them as well. So
yeah,
some triage on
maybe we should focus on that first, right? User accounts improvements. This one should be close to, maybe it's, no, there is a PR that you have started, right? To the validator.
It's ready, yeah. We just need to spend some time on it, and same with the NuGet packages.
Did you just apologize because you interrupted me?
No.
Okay.
Why would I apologize for interrupting you?
Yeah, you should not, because well, it's like 23-0, okay, and I win for interrupting you. That's okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it should be close, right? So should do it soon. And it's super stable, and we have cookies now, and all the sizes are perfect, and so yeah, it's so good. I mean, so many things. Our feature I missed, but super polished already. So many people have it in production, so we should go 1.0. Well, should we wait for the tutorials? 40 days?
Maybe for audit trail, we should really have it there.
Sure. It's missing something,
please,
right?
please hurry.
Yes, I'm on it. Really, I'm really on it.
Okay. As long as you do everything I asked for, it's okay.
Have you caught up with the new user ID, Gabor?
Not yet.
Okay, we should talk about that at some point. Send me a message.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
That choosing collections and what else? There was something. Is that the UI that didn't look exactly like, well, exactly. Didn't look at all like Control. Something like that.
Yes, but I think the UI, it's not so necessary to be shipped in the 1.0 release of Orchak, or we can do it later because it's just, cosmetics and so on. The main goal is the functionality of the trainer module.
Cosmetics and so on. That's the most important thing. And I'm not kidding. People would prefer something that doesn't work and is beautiful than that it works and not beautiful. Half of it.
I started working on making the admin UI more consistent. So I have a PR coming this week.
Oh boy. And then you do it for the audit PR?
Yeah, probably. It needs to work first. So after that.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So that was the topics. All good then. So next week meeting, nothing special, 8, it's okay. Thursday morning, 10 a.m. meeting also, triage. So we are all good. Thanks everyone. Thank you Zoltan for the 40-39 videos. And we check, at least it's every day and not every week, okay? Because otherwise.
Yes, it's a joy every day.
Maybe it's pretty easier to just ship everything, right? This way you don't have to do something every single day, right?
But there is something to await every single day, right?
Or maybe 7 videos every week?
Yeah, that's maybe.
So starting by 7, not starting by 1.
Yeah, that would be more like Netflix.
Okay, thanks a lot. So thanks everyone. See you on Thursday or next Tuesday. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.